My beloved brothers and sisters, what if the reason you feel tired is not your life, but your heart? What if the peace you are searching for in people, in distractions in the world, has been within you all along? Many people spend their entire lives chasing happiness, yet they never feel it. Not because happiness is far, but because they never learned how to build it inside themselves. Today, let us reflect on something simple yet life-changing. Small habits that can quietly transform your heart, your mind, and your entire day. 1. Start your day with Allah. My brothers and sisters, how you begin your day shapes everything that follows. And this is something many people underestimate. The first moments after you wake up are not just ordinary moments. They set the tone for your thoughts, your emotions, and even your decisions for the rest of the day. If your morning begins with stress, rushing, and checking your phone, your heart immediately feels heavy and your mind becomes distracted. You carry that restlessness with you into everything you do, and without realizing it, your entire day starts to feel overwhelming. But when your day begins with Allah, everything changes in a way that is deep and lasting. It is not about doing something complicated or long. It is about starting your day with intention and connection. When you wake up and remember Allah, when you say a simple dua, when you take a few quiet moments to pray, you are grounding your heart before facing the world. You are reminding yourself that no matter what happens today, you are not alone, and you are under the care of the one who controls everything. Even a few moments of sincere dua in the early morning can bring a sense of peace that nothing else can give. When you raise your hands and speak to Allah honestly, without pretending, without hiding your worries, you begin to feel a calmness that settles inside your chest. Even 2 units of prayer, performed with focus and humility, can shift your entire mindset. It slows you down, clears your thoughts, and helps you step into the day with clarity instead of confusion. Remembering Allah quietly, even while sitting or lying down, has a powerful effect on the heart. When you say His names, when you reflect on His mercy, your heart begins to soften. The anxiety that you may have felt when you first woke up starts to fade, and in its place comes a sense of trust. Allah reminds us that in His remembrance, hearts truly find rest. And this is not just a statement, it is something you feel when you practice it consistently. When your heart is connected to Allah at the start of the day, you stop depending on people for your peace. You stop expecting others to fix your mood or make you feel better, because you have already filled your heart with something greater. This connection gives you strength. It gives you patience when things go wrong, and it gives you gratitude when things go right. Starting your day with Allah does not mean your day will be free from challenges, but it means you will face those challenges with a different heart, a heart that is calmer, stronger, and more trusting. And this is where real happiness begins, not from what happens around you, but from the peace that you carry within you. 2. Stop seeking validation from people. My brothers and sisters, one of the greatest reasons people feel emotionally drained and unhappy is because they are constantly seeking validation from others. They want to be noticed, appreciated, accepted, and praised. They measure their worth based on how people treat them, how people respond to them, and how people speak about them. Without realizing it, they hand over their peace to the opinions of others. The problem with this way of living is that people are never constant. Their opinions change, their moods change, and their attitudes change. One day they may praise you, and the next day they may criticize you. If your happiness is built on something so unstable, then your heart will always feel unsettled. You will always be chasing approval, always adjusting yourself to fit expectations, and always feeling like you are not enough. Many people begin to lose their true identity because of this. They start pretending to be someone they are not, just to be accepted. They hide their struggles, they change their values, and sometimes they even compromise their principles just to gain approval. But no matter how much you try, you will never be able to please everyone. This is a reality that every person must accept. When you live your life trying to satisfy people, you end up exhausting yourself. You overthink your actions, your words, and even your silence. You begin to question your worth based on reactions that are temporary and often meaningless. This creates anxiety, self-doubt, and emotional instability. But my brothers and sisters, the moment you shift your focus from people to Allah, everything begins to change. When you remind yourself that Allah knows your intentions, that He sees your efforts, and that He understands what is in your heart, you no longer feel the need to prove yourself to anyone else. You begin to live with sincerity instead of pressure. Living for Allah brings a sense of freedom that cannot be explained easily. You no longer feel controlled by people's opinions. Praise does not inflate your ego, and criticism does not break your heart. You become balanced. You become stable. You become content with doing what is right, even if no one notices. This does not mean you ignore people completely or treat them badly. Islam teaches us to be kind, respectful, and mindful of others. But there is a difference between being kind to people and living for their approval. Your intention should always remain pure, and your focus should always remain on pleasing Allah first. When you stop seeking validation from people, you protect your peace. You begin to understand that your value does not come from how many people like you, follow you, or praise you. Your value comes from your connection with Allah, your sincerity, and your character. This shift may not happen overnight. It requires awareness, effort, and constant reminders. But once you begin this journey, you will notice a change in your heart. You will feel lighter. You will feel calmer. You will feel more confident in who you are. And this is a powerful step towards true happiness. Because when your heart is no longer dependent on people, it finally becomes free. 3. Be grateful for what you have. My brothers and sisters, one of the greatest secrets to feeling better every day is something very simple, yet often neglected, and that is gratitude. Many people live their lives constantly focusing on what is missing, what is delayed, and what they wish they had. They wake up thinking about their problems, they compare their lives with others, and slowly their hearts become heavy without them even realizing why. The reality is that the human mind naturally notices what is lacking more than what is present. Shaitan uses this to distract you from your blessings. He makes you feel as though your life is incomplete, as though you are behind, as though everyone else has more than you. When you constantly look at what others have, you begin to ignore what Allah has already given you. But if you pause for a moment and reflect sincerely, you will realize that your life is filled with blessings that you have become used to. Your health, your ability to wake up, your ability to breathe without effort, your family, your opportunities, your iman, and even the smallest comforts you enjoy daily are all gifts from Allah. These are not small things, but because they are always present, we often fail to appreciate them. Allah teaches us a powerful principle that if we are grateful, He will increase us. This increase is not only in wealth or material things, but also in peace, contentment, and emotional strength. Gratitude has the ability to transform how you see your life. It shifts your focus from scarcity to abundance, from frustration to appreciation, and from sadness to calmness. When you begin your day with gratitude, your mindset changes completely. Instead of waking up with complaints, you wake up with awareness. You begin to notice the good in your life, even in small details. This does not mean your problems disappear, but it means they no longer control your entire perspective. Gratitude also protects your heart from comparison. When you are thankful for what you have, you stop looking at others with envy. You begin to understand that everyone has their own journey, their own tests, and their own blessings. What someone else has does not take away from what Allah has written for you. My brothers and sisters, true gratitude is not just words. It is a state of the heart. It is reflected in how you think, how you speak, and how you act. When you are grateful, you use your blessings in a way that pleases Allah. You recognize that everything you have is a trust, and this awareness makes you more humble and more content. There will be days when life feels difficult, when things do not go as planned, and when your heart feels tired. In those moments, gratitude becomes even more important. It helps you stay grounded. It reminds you that even in hardship, there are still blessings surrounding you. Sometimes the blessing is not in what you receive, but in what you are protected from. If you train yourself to practice gratitude daily, you will notice a powerful change within you. Your heart will feel lighter, your thoughts will become more positive, and your overall outlook on life will improve. You will begin to feel a sense of peace that does not depend on your circumstances, but on your connection with Allah. And this is the beauty of gratitude. It does not require anything from the outside. It begins within you. When you truly learn to appreciate what you have, you stop chasing happiness because you start realizing that it was already there all along. 4. Control your thoughts. My brothers and sisters, One of the most powerful skills a person can develop in life is the ability to control their thoughts. Many people believe that their biggest struggles come from outside problems, but in reality, the greatest battles are often happening inside the mind. A person may be surrounded by blessings, yet still feel anxious, overwhelmed, and unhappy simply because of the way they think. Your thoughts shape your emotions, and your emotions influence your actions. If your mind is constantly filled with negativity, fear, and doubt, your heart will feel heavy, even if your situation is not as bad as it seems. On the other hand, when your thoughts are guided by trust, patience, and hope, your heart becomes calm even during difficult times. One of the biggest issues people face today is overthinking. They replay situations again and again in their minds. They think about what went wrong, what people said, and what might happen in the future. This constant mental noise drains their energy and steals their peace. The problem is not always the situation itself, but the way the mind keeps holding on to it. My brothers and sisters, not every thought that enters your mind deserves your attention. Thoughts come and go, but you have the power to choose which ones you focus on. If you entertain every negative thought, it will grow stronger. If you learn to ignore it or replace it, it will weaken over time. This is where conscious control becomes important. When a negative thought enters your mind, pause and question it. Ask yourself if this thought is helping you or harming you. Ask yourself if this thought is bringing you closer to Allah or pushing you further away. This simple awareness can help you break the cycle of negativity. One of the most effective ways to control your thoughts is through remembrance of Allah. When your mind starts to wander into worry and fear, bring it back by remembering Allah. Say His names, make dhikr, and remind yourself that everything is in His control. This shifts your focus from uncertainty to trust. Another important step is to replace negative thoughts with positive and truthful ones. Instead of thinking everything is going wrong, remind yourself that every difficulty has a purpose. Instead of thinking, I cannot handle this, remind yourself that Allah does not burden a soul beyond what it can bear. These are not just comforting words, but powerful truths that strengthen the heart. It is also important to understand that your mind needs training, just like your body. You cannot expect to have a strong mindset if you allow your thoughts to run freely without discipline. Just as you train your body through consistent effort, you must train your mind through conscious awareness and repeated practice. My brothers and sisters, controlling your thoughts does not mean you will never feel sadness or stress. These emotions are part of being human, but it means you will not be controlled by them. You will not allow a single negative thought to take over your entire day or define your entire mood. When you learn to control your thoughts, you begin to experience a different level of peace. Situations that once overwhelmed you will feel manageable. Words that once hurt you deeply will no longer have the same effect. You become stronger, not because life becomes easier, but because your mindset becomes more stable. There will be moments when your thoughts feel difficult to control, especially during times of hardship. In those moments, turn back to Allah with sincerity. Ask Him to calm your heart, to guide your mind, and to protect you from negative thinking. The more you rely on Allah, the easier it becomes to regain control. Over time, as you continue to train your mind, you will notice a powerful transformation. Your thoughts will become clearer, your reactions will become calmer, and your heart will feel more at ease. You will begin to respond to life instead of reacting impulsively. And this is a sign of true strength. Not the absence of problems, but the ability to remain steady despite them. When you control your thoughts, you take back control of your life. And when your mind is at peace, your heart naturally follows. 5. Find peace in being alone with Allah. My brothers and sisters, one of the most overlooked sources of peace in this world is the ability to be comfortable in your own company, alone with Allah. Many people today are constantly surrounded by noise, distractions, and people, yet they still feel empty inside. The reason is simple. They have learned how to be with others, but they have never learned how to be with themselves. Silence makes them uncomfortable. Being alone makes them uneasy. So they fill every moment with distractions, scrolling, talking, or seeking company just to avoid facing their own thoughts. But the truth is, running away from yourself only increases the noise inside your heart. Being alone is not a punishment. It is not something to fear. In reality, it is a powerful opportunity. It is in these quiet moments that you begin to understand yourself. It is in these moments that your heart becomes honest. And most importantly, it is in these moments that your connection with Allah can become stronger than ever before. When you sit alone and remember Allah, something beautiful happens. The distractions fade. The pressure of people's expectations disappears. And your heart begins to settle. You are no longer trying to impress anyone. You are no longer comparing yourself to others. It is just you and your Creator. This is where true healing begins. You begin to reflect on your life, your actions, your intentions. You begin to speak to Allah in a way that is sincere and real. You ask for forgiveness without hesitation. You share your worries without fear. You make dua not just with your tongue, but from the depth of your heart. Many of the greatest moments of spiritual growth happen in solitude. It is when no one is watching, when there is no audience, and when there is no pressure to appear strong. In these moments, you are your true self, and Allah knows you better than anyone. My brothers and sisters, when you learn to find peace in being alone with Allah, you free yourself from a constant need for people. You no longer feel empty when you are alone because your heart is filled with remembrance. You no longer depend on others to distract you from your thoughts, because your thoughts are now guided by purpose. This does not mean you isolate yourself completely or avoid people. Islam encourages balance, but it means you no longer fear solitude. Instead, you begin to value it. You begin to create moments in your day where you disconnect from everything and reconnect with Allah. Even a few minutes of sincere reflection, a quiet dua, or simply sitting in silence remembering Allah can bring a level of peace that the world cannot offer. This peace is not loud or temporary. It is deep, stable, and lasting. There will be times in life when people leave, when plans change, and when you feel alone in ways you did not expect. If you have not learned how to be at peace with yourself, these moments can feel overwhelming. But if your heart is already connected to Allah, you will realize that you were never truly alone. Allah is always with you. He hears you when no one else does. He understands you when no one else can. He responds to you in ways you may not immediately see, but always in ways that are best for you. Over time, as you build this habit of being alone with Allah, you will notice a powerful change within yourself. You will become more emotionally stable, more self-aware, and more at peace. You will not be easily shaken by people or situations because your strength comes from something deeper. And this is the beauty of it all. When you find peace in being alone with Allah, you no longer search for happiness in the noise of the world. You carry it within you, quietly, sincerely, and consistently. And that is a level of peace that nothing in this world can take away. My beloved brothers and sisters, happiness is not something that suddenly appears in your life. It is something you build quietly, consistently, and sincerely through small habits, through your thoughts, through your connection with Allah. If you keep waiting for life to become perfect before you feel at peace, that day may never come. But when you begin to work on your heart, when you begin to change your habits, when you begin to turn back to Allah, you will realize that peace was never far from you. It was waiting for you to return. Start small, be consistent, be sincere, and most importantly, learn to be content with yourself, not because everything is perfect, but because you trust the one who controls everything. Because when your heart finds peace with Allah, you will discover a strength that no difficulty can shake and a calmness that no situation can take away. And that is the kind of happiness that truly lasts.